Today I want to do a book review of one of my absolute favorite books, and it is this book, The Complete Human Body, the definitive visual guide. This book is awesome in so many respects. Obviously it's visually very cool, but why? Why would I recommend this book? Why do I think you should read it? Because I would say this is not only a book review, actually. It's more of a book recommendation, actually. It's more, I want to recommend that you read this book, that you get this book or something similar. I'm obviously not affiliated with this company that publishes this book, but I got this book a few years ago when I first got interested in health, started changing my diet towards a raw vegan fruit-based diet. When I was seeking out optimal nutrition, optimal health, there was a point where I realized that I can't just go by, hearing what people say and all the different myths and belief systems that are going on in terms of like health ideas, nutrition ideas. I wanted to get a good grasp on the fundamental principles of the body. How does the body work? So rather than just saying, oh yeah, fruit is optimal, we should eat bananas. I wanted to know, okay, what is a banana? What does it consist of? What are the constituent parts, etc., etc.? And what are the constituent parts of the body? What happens to the banana after it goes into the mouth? What happens when it comes down the stomach, intestines? What about inside the blood? What does the nutrients do? Where do they go? How do they act? What is protein? How does the body build muscle? How does it repair itself? How does the liver function? All these questions are important questions to ask, and we gotta remember that there's two ways of looking at health, nutrition, the world. There's the reductionist method, and then there's the whole method, and they're both valuable. Looking at the whole, we look at things in a macro scale where we ask questions like, what appeals to me in its natural state if we're talking about nutrition? Fruit is optimal because it tastes great, it looks great, it's easy to peel as it is, we're naturally attracted to it, it's natural food for us, it makes me feel good, etc., etc. And we can also look at how all the nutrients play together in a concert to create a whole experience, a whole product, and there's a symbiotic relationship between this organism and the fruit, and etc. Looking at the whole. But there's also a place for looking at reducing down to, it's called reductionism, when you look at individual parts, individual constituents of a system and analyze why those parts are there and maybe what kind of role they play. The problem is if you lose grasp of the fact that each constituent has a relationship to every other factor, and together they act as a whole, because of course the human body is made of lots of cells, but we can keep looking at a cell, but the truth is each of these cells add together to create a body that's moving around and doing things on a different level. So we got to look at the micro scale, but also the macro scale. Now this book helps you do both, actually. It sort of gets you into the micro of things, but then that allows you to look at the whole more as well. So as I said, it's a book recommendation, it's more than a review, so I'm not going to go through what this book is all about, but it's basically like an atlas, like a map of the human body. It goes through first all the different ideas of the body and genes and what happens in the cell. I mean, look at that picture there. Isn't that awesome? That's a cell, and each of the different parts of the cell, the mitochondria, the nuclei, the DNA, the proteins, where they're created and how they're created, gives you an overview of what a cell is, and then goes to different types of tissues, different types of muscle, different types of cells, and then it gets into all the systems. So it'll go through the cardiovascular system, the bone system, the nervous system, the digestive system, cardiovascular system, all the different systems of the body. And on each of them it will explain a little bit, but there's, here's about a muscle. You know, how does the muscle work, and how does it break down into different cells? And you know, this helps you understand, because that it can, you know, when you hear things like, oh, after a workout you need to eat something carbohydrate rich, you need to replenish your glycogen stores. First of all, if you know what glycogen is, it's basically carbohydrates stored in a stored form, sugar molecules bound together, stored in the muscle. And you ask, like, what in the muscle, and how does it, where in the muscle, and what does it do in the muscle, and that sort of questions. Well, if you can look and sort of break it down into the constituent parts, you'll be more able to see that, oh, there's no magic here. Of course, if you look at it, it's pretty magical how the body works, but there's no magic as such. It all makes perfect sense. It's you know, the muscles contract in a mechanical way, and there's these little things that contract, and it's like it's mechanics. It's nothing mysterious about it. For me, that allowed me to look into those kind of things and to read this book over and over again. And I'm reading it again now, looking through it, learning. It allows me to get a grounded understanding of what health is, how the body works. And of course, there's always lots more to learn, of course. I mean, you can't contain everything there is to know about the body in a book. You can't contain a fraction of it even, but this is the level we're currently at, and it's pretty advanced if you think about it. We've come pretty far, scientifically speaking, humans, in terms of figuring out things. The digestive system, right? Hugely important if you're learning about nutrition. If you want to learn about nutrition, what you put in your body, start appreciating every little part of the whole system, and you'll be much more inclined to take care of it. When you start realizing all the different parts of the body and how intricate it is and how amazing it is, well, that's when you start really, you know, caring about your health, caring about your body. It's so amazing. And also, you know, getting fit. When you look at anatomy charts, because this is anatomy book as well, obviously, has all the information about how the body systems work, but then also goes into detail in terms of anatomy. So here's the leg, right? Muscles in the leg, and you can learn the names of each of the muscles, tendons. Here's the joint, the knee, and you'll learn the Latin names for these muscles. And I don't know if that's of interest to most people. You know, for me, it's very interesting. I like to learn about anatomy. It's one of my favorite subjects, I guess. But you know, it's all about, you don't even have to sit down and learn it, like, you know, learn all the words and everything, but it's about getting an overview. That's what it's about. Learning about how things fit together and why they are the way they are. And here's how the kidneys function. And the kidneys are involved in your, you know, regulating your fluid balance and cleaning your blood and filtering out things. And hugely important for anyone interested in health, hugely important for anyone, especially if you're into sports, of course. You know, the truth is that you don't, as I said already, you don't need to learn this, and this is not necessarily going to teach you anything about health, because we all know doctors and people all around the world, they spend years studying this stuff, years learning intricate names and all the glossary, and they're in the lab and they're looking at things, but then still they don't seem to understand almost anything about what is health and how to live healthfully and how to eat optimal and that sort of thing. So, you know, that's why if you get too lost in the details, like a lot of people are, you lose the whole picture. You miss the forest for the trees, as they say. So you don't want to do that. You want to then take a step back and see how this relates to the whole. And, you know, you don't want to relate to nutrition or health in general by the micro scale. You don't want to eat foods because they have carbohydrates, proteins, fats. You don't want to eat a specific food because it's high in a specific mineral. You don't want to eat according to those parameters. You want to eat because the food appeals to you. You want to eat because that food naturally appeals to you as it is, in its raw natural state. You are one with that food. A mango, it's food. And you eat mango for the sake of mango, not for the sake of all the different vitamins and minerals in there. But you know, the thing is, you don't have to figure it out. Your body's already figured it out. You can learn about how the lungs work and how to breathe, how our breathing works, but you don't have to know that in order to breathe. You're naturally excellent at breathing. Same thing with nutrition. You don't really have to learn about nutrition. You're excellent at it. Your body is naturally adapted to being attracted to fruits and eating food in its raw natural state. You don't have to learn anything about it. But what will happen though is that when you start learning, when you look at how the lungs work in relationship to the heart and the blood and how it all fits together, you get inspired about being healthy and making this system work optimally. And by understanding it, you're also less prone to falling victim to these health myths, because there's so much myth out there. People, talking all kinds of bullshit. And as I said before, everyone has a certain amount of bullshit that they say. I'm sure, I don't claim to know everything. So take everything everyone says with a grain of salt, as they say, and extract what you find to be truthful. But it's very easy, if you don't have any understanding of how the body works, you can you just hear something and it's like, oh, that's true, oh really, that's also, sugar is bad, oh, sugar is bad. Take a step back. Sugar is bad. You can look at it from the whole perspective, like fruit appeals to us. How would something that appeals to us in this raw natural state be bad for us? And then on the other hand, you can look at the details. Well, what happens when sugar enters the body? What is sugar? How does it work with the body? And then try and figure out those arguments and take them apart and analyze what you're thinking, basically. So I think that's all for today. I recommend anatomy books highly. I recommend reading physiology books. I recommend reading biology books. I recommend reading a lot of books or listening to them as audiobooks or watching videos, but that's just books. I like books. And if you are going to get one book, I highly recommend getting this book. It is a thick book with so stimulating information. It's like reading it is so entertaining. You can just sit and look at it and be like, oh my god, oh, a penis, oh, a shoulder, oh wow, that's the biceps there, oh, I didn't know I had a nerve there, oh, the nerve ending is there, and that's more, blah 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 blah, right? You can just learn so much. I have another anatomy book here that I'm going to read these days, specifically focused in on strength and fitness training. But that's less stimulating. It's more like a little bit more dull to read, but still fun. So get your anatomy books and learn about the body. Highly recommended. Thanks for watching and see you later.